Hey skaters, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. I'm back with another video today and a bit of an instructional on how to make your skateboard shoes last a little bit longer. These are my current skate shoes. These are Adidas. You always end up with holes here. This is from doing ollies and kick flips and stuff like that. And often you end up snapping laces. I'm gonna look at kind of trying to fix all this stuff up and make these shoes last extra long because they've got loads of tread left. It would be a shame to throw them away just because of a little hole. Things you're gonna need are shoe glue. Alternatively, if you don't have any of that, just normal super glue. An old piece of shoe. This is from like an old America shoe. It's like kind of plasticky material. Another thing I always keep my laces. Keep them spare because number one, you might want to replace the laces, and two, I have a little helpful secret. Fix your shoes with laces, and I don't mean just replacing them, I mean something else, so stay tuned for that. Before we get into fixing the shoe, can I just ask all you guys to like the video and subscribe if you like this sort of content, if you like tutorials or just progress videos, helpful tricks and tips with skateboarding. We'd surely appreciate it. You'll get notifications every time we upload. So to start off with, I'm left foot forward, I'm a regular skater, so we're pretty much only going to be focusing on the left foot, so I'm going to stick that one over there, and we're just going to focus on this one. Now I'm going to start off by swapping out the laces. If they were sort of mostly intact, you can keep tying them. I could potentially look into reattaching this lace and then just re-threading it through. You end up with a couple of knots on your shoes, but anyone who knows will know that you're a skater, and anyone who judges you, who cares? I'm actually going to de-thread this lace because it's mostly fine. And I'm just going to kind of skip the bottom rung, so I'm going to start threading the shoe from about these holes instead. So you'll end up with a nice extra length of lace, because I've lost some lace here, so I want to have enough length that I can tie my shoelaces again. I'm going to cut off this horrible old knot because it's not really going to do me any good anymore. Great, so there you can see I've just skipped these bottom two holes and now I've got enough lace. You can actually apply a little bit of super glue or shoe glue to the laces here, because this is the high friction part, especially the top two laces. So for example, I'm probably going to apply a little bit of glue there and this one too, but I might actually just go all the way down. What I'm going to do first though is if I actually put my shoe on my foot, I'm going to tie the shoelaces up. So this is how the shoe is going to be and how tight the laces will be when I'm actually wearing the shoe. And then I'm going to get some black marker pen and just mark out the spots where I need to glue. There you go, black dots here. So when I take the shoe off, I know where I'm gluing. I've glued these bits of laces here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't bother with the bottom one because it doesn't get too much wear anyway. They should be fine. Once I lace those up, they will match my foot. Now I think it's time to actually try and deal with this hole. That's the big glaring problem with this shoe, and it's actually gone to the point where I'd probably wear a hole in my sock if I kept skating. Different ways I deal with holes in shoes. I'll either use old piece of shoe that I'll cut out a little patch that will just basically match that bit there, or I use an old piece of shoelace. Shoelaces are better generally if they're like the flat types, like the ones I've got in here. You can cut out a little square of that. I usually actually put it on the inside when there's a bigger hole, and then I glue loads and loads and loads with different layers over the top. I think for this one, I'm gonna go with a little patch of this. You only need a little square, just enough to fit in there, and then I'll just glue and reinforce over the top. If you look at that, that's pretty much perfect. That's a nice little square, and it should just sink right into that hole that I've made there. So a repair like this can make your shoes last a few extra months if you really take care of it and keep gluing over the top. So I'm going to start off by just gluing the area around here where I want the patch to stick to. Let it dry for a couple of minutes, and then I'll glue over the top so that we have a nice seal and a nice coverage over the patch. I'm trying to glue and avoid the hole because I don't want like a bubble of glue to harden and then rub against my foot when my foot is inside. I'm gonna let this dry, give it a few minutes, maybe 10-20 minutes. I'm gonna come back and check it, and then I'm probably gonna top it up with loads and loads of glue so we got some nice coverage and it's nice and stuck down. I ended up using shoe glue for the patch because the super glue just wasn't sticking. This stuff is really sticky, so I ended up just putting some shoe glue in there, squidding it on, and it held in place nicely. But I'm gonna apply a couple of layers over the top of this now to kind of get over. You don't want to have too much of like an overhang or edges exposed, so I'm going to try and sort of do enough glue that it's nice and smooth, and it'll stay on for a good while as long as I keep applying new layers when they weigh down. So I'm going to apply a big fat blob on there, maybe a little too much to start, but that's okay because I'll just spread it around. I'm also going to do a line along here because this sort of piece of the shoe is starting to wear away. So there it is. I'm going to let that dry overnight. When that dries, that's going to become a nice thin hard layer of flexible shoe glue over the top of the hole with the patch secured in place. I've applied it quite thick, but once it dries, it'll be fine. It'll be quite smooth, and I can even apply a bit more if I want to at a later point. I've glued the laces so they'll be a little bit more robust and won't break so quickly. That'll make my shoes last a few months extra compared to what they normally would. This is a tried and tested method that I've been doing for a long time. Let me know in the comments if you have your own ways of doing it. I know people use things like duct tape, bits of old shoes, patches that you can buy. Please let me know if you have a different way of fixing your shoes. Let me know if you gave this a go. I'd like to hear if it worked really well for you. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe if you like this sort of content and skate videos, tutorials, tricks and tips. I'm Sam from Skateboard Academy UK. Thanks for watching and take care.